Are you looking for an all-around city bike that's equipped and loaded and ready for whatever you throw at it, commuting around town? Well, the Orbea Kemen might just be the bike for you. Let's check it out. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Electric Bike Journal. Today, we are excited to be talking about the Orbea Kemen and its counterpart, the Kemen SUV. These are both two new launches from Orbea for the 2022 year, and we are not only excited to be riding it, we are excited to be sharing about it. Orbea has done a very great job designing these bikes. The Kemen is designed for more of the city goer, someone looking to commute, get on and off campus, run a few errands around town, but still be capable to take the longer way home and maybe navigate some more difficult terrain like dirt roads or some gravel paths on a rec area. Its counterpart, the Kemen SUV, has a more heavy-duty rear rack and is spec'd with wider tires than the normal Kemen, which is their intention to make it more of that SUV in your life, more of the sport utility vehicle to get around town, take those dirt roads, haul a few more things than you would normally on this one, but be a little bit more advanced as an all-arounder. This summer, we have been riding the Kemen Mid 10, which is the higher spec with that middle top tube. They do have a flat top tube option as well for the same price point, but we've really been enjoying this mid model, and I like this step through idea. When you do have things on that rear rack, it makes it so much easier to throw your leg through the frame rather than up and over whatever you have on the back of the bike. As I mentioned, we were very excited to be getting this bike from Orbea, and we have had a blast riding it around. It has seen a lot of miles from Portland to Bend and gravel bike paths at rec areas. This bike is a blast to ride, and we've really been enjoying our time on it. Orbea offers the Kemen and the Kemen SUV in two different build options, the 10 as we see here and the 30. Both of those bikes share that same hydroformed aluminum frame with the integrated battery in the down tube and the Shimano EP8 motor. This Kemen Mid 10 comes with Magura MT5 hydraulic disc brakes, both front and rear, a Fox 34 float, AWL front fork, and a Shimano XT drivetrain. The Kemen 10s come with a dropper post, which I find extremely convenient for riding around town, especially in that stop and go traffic. They also have front and rear fenders, which have very ample coverage to help deflect and keep water away from you as the rider. And they do have that rear rack on the back. The Orbea Kemen comes with a Lesign headlight that offers a high and low beam with just a simple press of the button on the handlebars, and a Lesign tail light with an integrated alarm. The Orbeas are set up as a 1x11 using that Shimano XT drivetrain. The Shimano EP8 drive unit uses a 540 watt-hour integrated battery. Now, some of you might not like that it is only a 540 watt-hour battery and that it's integrated, but don't worry. Orbea offers a 252 watt-hour range extender, which has a mount similar to a bottle mount that does go onto the frame using those bottle bosses and a little adapter to extend your range. The Kemen uses Orbea's new smart charger, which helps read the battery temperature while it's charging and alternate between 2 and 4 amp. Some of us, when we get home, we'll plug our bike in and we let it sit there on the charger all night long, which can cause damage to your battery if it's not cycling how it charges. So their new smart charger has a lot of tech into it to help extend that battery life to make it last as long as possible. Well, like I said, there is a lot going on with the Kemen and the Kemen SUV. So if you're looking for more specs or information, be sure to go over to the website. It's gonna have everything you need to know there. For now, let's throw a leg over and go for a spin to get that on-bike experience and see how this bike does. All right, well, let's take a ride on the Orbea Kemen. Now, the big difference between the Kemen and the Kemen SUV is that the Kemen is designed for being out in the city and cruising around town. So it has the Schwalbe G1 all-around tires that are 29 by 2.25. The rolling speed on these is great. You put the bike in off and you can see it just pedals so nicely, even without having to be on. I am almost in the highest gear, cruising down, and actually gonna have to use the brakes, doing 18 miles an hour on a very, very, very smooth slope here. A little bit of an incline, just as big of an incline as that downhill was. I'm still in that same higher gear, 15 miles an hour, pedaling, and it rolls super nice. All right, we're gonna click it up into the eco mode here. And an eco, same high gear, picking up speed. Now the main thing that Orbea talks about with this bike is the opportunity to take charge of your day and taking the long way home. And if you have a bike path like this that kind of goes from the office or back to the house or just around town, you can get some pedaling in and not have to break a sweat, but get to enjoy a bigger part of your day. Now this is a size large and I'm 6 feet tall, about 170, 175 pounds, depending on if I'm wearing a backpack or not, but the reach feels good for me. Our other tester was saying that the combination of the reach and the stack height kind of felt a little bit more aggressive. And I wouldn't disagree. The combination of that and these wide bars definitely set you up in a more aggressive stance. But you really do feel like you're in control when pedaling around. All right, well, let's kick it up into trail. And noticeable difference. But again, this bike is meant to be the city version of the Kemen, and the choice on tires and paths like this, it rolls so nicely. Well, today's a nice sunny, warm summer day still, thankfully. But this bike does come with the full-size fenders, both front and rear. That box fork up front. You'll notice here on these like bumps and like roots coming across and kicking up the pavement that the fork just soaks up the right amount. The Fox spec is a great spec for this bike. I really like it. I have it set to wide open just to be the most plush. And if I was on a more firm road or going for a little bit more sportness, I can firm it up. But when going across these like rooty cracks in the ground, you could feel and see the front wheel kind of quickly stick, and then the rear end kind of pops up a little bit because it is the hardtail rigid frame. But in boost mode, gets up to speed very quickly. One thing with the Shimano motor is that it is so quiet. You hear a little bit of the motor whine, but honestly, the wind in my ears is louder, and it's not even a windy day. Just going 20 miles an hour. I've ridden this quite a bit on fully rigid bikes, and you definitely feel all of those cracks. So having that suspension fork and those 2.25 tires, those make a huge difference in riding this bike around. When it comes to going fast downhill, it's a very smooth, well-balanced bike. Your body posture and riding position is in a good place to feel like you're very in control, and even letting go of the bike, 23 miles an hour, it stays very straight, very true. You're just kind of in the right spot when you ride this bike, which is very nice. Because some of us have some pretty steep hills where we live. We want to make sure that we know that we can trust our brakes and feel confident going down and in control of our bike. So there it is, folks, the Orbea Kemen. This bike has been an absolute blast to ride around. And like I said, we've taken it kind of all over the state and put it through its paces. The spec with the 10 is an absolutely great spec. You are getting a great bike through and through for what you're spending. The 10 models come in at $5,500 US and the 30s come in at $4,600 US. Both of those bikes are gonna be coming with a great build spec. It is a little bit pricier, but you're not gonna have to change anything out up front. The Fox 34 Float AWL fork feels so nice when riding around town. I've been riding a lot of full rigid bikes and my hands are starting to feel it. So having that little extra addition and cush up front to take some of that road chatter away feels amazing. Equally, when hopping out on gravel and dirt roads and roots in the pavement, it's able to absorb and take on so much more abuse than that full rigid front end, and therefore save my hands from a lot of abuse. As a whole, the Shimano EP8 drive unit is a great unit. We did see that a lot of people were asking why they chose to go with the EP8 as opposed to the RS motor. Likely it is just a decision on their end to go with the EP8 and that tune for a city bike. The RS is definitely just a different motor. It's a different tune and something that probably just, in my opinion, isn't necessary for this application. Orbea has done a very great job with the Kemen. It is a great bike to ride, from the Shimano EP8 motor, the XD drivetrain, the way that the frame looks. There are just so many things about this bike that we really enjoyed. However, there are a few things that we didn't like, one of them being the brakes. These Magura MT5s are great brakes. I absolutely love how they feel. The brake pads, however, did not quite offer what I wanted out of these brakes. I learned how to ride them and it's not that big of a deal, but we would likely choose to go with a different pad to pair with these brakes, but we can't understand why they would go with that spec, likely for being a quieter pad and something that can tolerate weather a little bit better. Something else that stood out to one of our testers was a combination of the stack height and the reach and the head tube angle. There was just something off for him that never made him feel entirely settled. I did not get those same feelings. I am a little bit taller than he is, slightly longer arms. We would just encourage you to try to take one of these bikes for a test ride beforehand. Obviously, stem length, bar width, these are all things that you can change to make it fit you the best way possible. All in all, the Kemen is a great bike. We have absolutely loved riding it. The spec on these tires, the super wide bars, the dropper posts, there's just so many details about this bike that we just have to stop ourselves and say, it's a good bike. You're not gonna miss out on anything by riding one of these. And I mean, I rode this up some very, very steep dirt trails and actually had to shift up into a higher gear because it was just climbing so well. If you're curious about the Kemen and want to test one out yourself, be sure to head over to orbea.com and use the Rider Connect. It's a platform that they've created to help find the bike you're looking for closest to you. It's a great way to get out there and test fit and test ride one of these bikes. Like I said, the chance to go and test ride one of these is gonna make for getting the right size even easier, but also getting to get stoked out on what a great ride experience this bike offers. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about the Kemen, be sure to leave them down below. We will try our best to answer, and if we don't have an answer for you, we will reach out to Orbea and try to get one for you. Also, click subscribe. It helps us out, and it could help you out. We do giveaways all the time. Right now, we are giving away an Aventon Pace 500, so be sure to check out that video. Leave a comment on that video with what you would do if you want an e-bike, and subscribe. That's all you gotta do. We're gonna be picking a lucky winner. For now, the Orbea Kemen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.